Hello, everyone. Good morning from Rotterdam. My name is Leoncio Montemayor. I'm a project manager at Solarplaza, and it is with a lot of pleasure that I welcome you to this live webinar on why subsidy-free solar is easy. A discussion on the new reality. We know that subsidy-free solar has been popping up in many Southern European markets over the last couple of years, and this has totally changed the paradigm of how the industry works. We have 5 speakers with us today that we will be able to discuss this. Javier from Sungrow, well, 2 Javiers from Sungrow, Jauke from Kegal, Pablo Jimeno from Iberica Solar, and Sergio Fernandez from Jinko. So without further ado, let's get started. So basically, I'll start with a small and brief introduction, and then we will go to the live discussion with Q&A with the 5 speakers. So we are doing this webinar for our event Solar Market Parity Spain, which actually happening 1 week from now in Madrid. So we've seen that the Spanish market reborn again over the last year or so. So we will be exploring this from many different angles. So this is a couple of the sponsors that we have for our event. And this is the program where the key topics include wholesale electricity prices projections. We're going to talk about the auctions, greenfield development, financing, PPAs, grid considerations, and more. I really invite you to look at the webpage and look at the latest program to check it out. Also, make sure to visit our website for more content. We have country reports, we have a developer's guide, we have a mappa of a PPA map, a mappa. So make sure to check it out, spain.solarmarketparity.com. And for all of you who don't know Solarplaza, our mission is to positively impact the world by accelerating the sustainable energy transition. We do this mostly by organizing high-level events around the world. As you can see, we have organized more than 110 events in 30-plus countries, and we have a big network of 60,000 PV professionals and counting. So some practical notes. If you have any type of technical issues, please use the chat box and we'll help you immediately. If you have any questions for the speakers or any remark that you would like to give to the discussion, please use the question box and the moderator will be able to read them and react upon it. For the slides and the recordings, they will be available afterwards. I will pass on the control to Javier Sandio, who will be moderating the discussion. Javier, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Leoncio. Okay, first of all, I would like to welcome all of our guests. And well, I'm Javier Sandio, sales manager from Sungrow, and I'm going to be moderating the live discussion, which is going to start right now. First of all, let's do a round of presentations. Maybe Jauke, you can start.
Yeah, thank you, Javier. So maybe short introduction of KGL. So KGL is the German investment fund manager. We're managing institutional funds in real estate, aviation, and renewables. And in renewables, we have 1.1 gigawatts installed in Europe and 70 megawatts operational in Spain. And I'm responsible for promoting PV development in Spain for our new fund, the ESPF4. And yeah, maybe I hand over the introduction to Pablo, and then we afterwards start the discussion.
Okay, great. Pablo, please.
Yes, well, Iberica Solar is an independent and global engineering company which is mainly focused on providing photovoltaic engineering services for utility-scale solar PV plants, trying to cover all the related areas within PV engineering business like electrical, mechanical, civil, instrumentation and control, etc. We start our business in 2005, where we mainly work in the Spanish market until it disappeared, and then we moved to the international market, and we have been working in the international market since then, and now we are coming back to Spain now that Spain is again a big power in photovoltaics.
Great, Pablo, thank you. Now please, Javier Izcue.
Hello all, my name is Javier Izcue and I'm the country manager for Sungrow Iberica. For those who don't know Sangro is a world-class technology inverter provider, specialized in PV inverters and storage systems for residential, commercial, and industrial utility scale projects. We have more than 20 years experience, and we have already installed 79 gigawatts worldwide, and we have 15% of the global market share. We provide full solutions running from string inverters, central inverters, and storage systems, and we have more than 3,000 employees, where 35% of them are from research and development, which make us the #1 largest PV inverter research and development team. So thank you also Solarplaza for organizing the event, and I think I will pass the word to Javier Zandio again.
Thank you very much, Javier. And now please, Sergio Fernandez, as Development Manager from Ginkgo.
Okay, hello, good morning to everyone. I'm Sergio Fernandez, and I'm currently Development Project Manager at in Ginkgo Power, that is the IPP division of Ginkgo Solar. Ginkgo Power has installed more than 4 gigawatts over all the world, and we have been focused with more than 300 megawatts out of China, and currently we are constructing 180 megawatts project here in Spain that was awarded in the Spanish auction, in the last Spanish auction. Okay, so this is more or less the background that we have in Ginkgo Power.
Okay, Sergio, great. Thanks everybody for the introduction. And now let's get started with the live discussion. The main topic, as you know, is why subsidy-free solar is easy. And here we have some key pointers of the different points we are going to talk about. We'll have about 5 minutes for each participant. So maybe if we follow the same order, maybe Hauke, you could start.
Yeah, thank you, Javier. So, yeah, subsidy-free solar and of course also wind is really getting into the focus. I mean, we from KGL, we come from a time where there was subsidies for all renewables in all countries, and now since the module prices have decreased a lot and PPA prices are quite high, it's possible to build subsidy-free. And on the investor side, there's more and more interest in going with subsidy-free solar and take some merchant risk. So mainly because subsidies are being reduced in all countries, and there's basically the need to go and take some merchant risk. And yeah, one main driver, I think, is the increase of efficiency of the modules. So, and we probably will see, I guess, more of efficiency increase in the next years. So basically, I think this is the main driver, and depending on how this is going on, there will be decreased costs for generating electricity. So the LCOEs, the levelized cost of energy, will go down, and this, on the one hand, is a great opportunity. On the other hand, of course, it's also kind of a risk, as probably everybody knows, due to the cannibalization of PV itself. So that's why all investors would like to have some kind of hedge. So that's why PPAs are so important. And so basically, I think the success of subsidy-free solar really depends on the appetite of power offtakers and corporates to offer some kind of hedge. Either it's, I mean, the longer the better from an investor's point of view. So in the moment we see 10-year PPAs, 15-year PPAs are very rare. or when they are available, they usually come with some kind of profile risk to be borne by the operator. So on the one hand, there's the off-takers who provide this kind of hedge. On the other hand, there's the investors and also the banks that might also need to take some more merchant risk and maybe also be willing to just get a 5-year PPA fixed price and have a rolling period of prolonging this hedge after or within this first 5-year period, or just taking some more profile risk instead of moving this to the off-takers. I think this is a little bit the way I expected it's going. So because I expect that there is a scarcity of PPAs, so long-term PPAs. So because there will be an abundance of projects. That's what we can see in the Spanish market, especially where there's a lot of projects. And so that's a little bit, the key from our point of view. And then maybe to hand over the discussion, I could ask a question to Yinko, to Sergio from Yinko, because another important thing to understand is how do module efficiencies will increase in the next 10 years, and what Sergio's expectation is. So I think now we are at an efficiency rate of, I think, around 18+%. And what is Sergio's view on the efficiency within 10 years? Because this, of course, would reduce the levelized cost of energy further.
Thank you, Hauke, for your point of view. First of all, I would like to make a reminder that anybody can ask questions from the audience using the question box. And now then, Sergio, go ahead.
Okay, so thanks. The first stall, I would like to answer to Hawk. Okay, so from the model point of view, the future, from my understanding, think about that. I'm not in Jinko Solar, the PV model manufacturer, and the IPP, so I have to know the full information about which will be the trend. So in any case, what I can give you, it's my opinion. From my understanding, what I understand is that the future, I would say in a medium long term, is that the bifacial model will be the future of the PV models. Okay, so there is a lot of researching about how efficiency and management of the bifacial model are going through the different type of soils, surface, and how to improve albedo, even with flowers, plants under that reflect the sun. So this is my understanding that the bifacial model will be the future in 5 years. I'm pretty sure that we will not see any kind of single facial model installed. And on the other side, related to the efficiency, I know for sure that for next years, 400 and 420 models in bifacial and also single facial will be on the market in a commercial point of view. Actually, in our project, we will receive. We are receiving some offers for 400 or 410 peak power PV single PV models. So, answering your question, I hope that this is my opinion. Okay.
Thank you, Sergio, for your opinion. Now, maybe we would like to interact with the audience. So maybe we could launch now the first poll we have for them. Leoncio, please. Okay, great. So please, we would like the audience to to answer now to this question, what do you think is the future of solar energy? Let's see the results in a bit. Okay. Now we see the results. Maybe someone would like to add something. Javier, maybe.
Yes, thank you, Javier. Well, I think it's quite interesting that the audience is thinking that the future is large-scale projects, even though now, well, especially in Spain, we are talking a lot about self-consumption, and especially in Germany, where, for example, is a stabilized market where a lot of plants are. And I think the audience thinks that, well, with these large-scale projects, we could also start with this renewable energy change, and doing this kind of large-scale projects will allow us to produce energy to different households and avoid other kind of not renewable energies. So, talking to the point again, well, what's very interesting was what Hauke Sievers and Sergio Fernandez were saying. It's always interesting to have the view of an investment fund as KGL and as a developer as Jinko. From our point of view as manufacturers, we are facing a lot of pressure about the quality of the components and the prices. Talking, if we see how it was in the past, for example, in 2007, where an inverter of 100 kilowatt was like 25,000 euros, and the weight of the inverter was like 1,000 kilograms with a big transformer inside. Now the technology allows us to decrease the price almost 10 times that price, and instead of 1,000 kilograms, we have a 70 kilogram inverter. Why I'm saying this? Because the technology is really important, and this kind of new technologies in IGBTs, in converters, makes possible that the materials, the components, are also cheaper, which makes the developers and the EPCs to get these kind of components and make PPAs possible. This, by doing this, we think it's really important to be competitive in all the materials. And for example, in our case, we can provide central and string inverters for these kind of solutions. And we are also talking about PPAs, but we also strongly believe that the future is going to be storage. And by using also these kind of technologies, we will make even these kind of subsidy-free parks even more positive. We have a joint venture with Samsung, for example, and we could eventually also provide this kind of solutions. Hauke was also asking me what about the efficiency of the inverters after 5 or 10 years. What we normally do as manufacturers, we can provide also guarantee extensions and different services running from just components guarantee to complete availability guarantee for the whole lifetime of the plant. This makes also the investment fund, the developer, the EPCs also really important to do this kind of technologies. And for us, it's really important the collaboration between the different stakeholders. So whenever these kind of projects also happen, it's really important for us to have good relationship with the investment fund, with the developer, with the EPC, with the technical advisor, because working all together make this kind of solar parks reality. Talking about Spain, well, I hope to see a lot of the assistants next week in the event in Solarplaza, and we will also further discuss. Talking about Spain, now we have also more legal security, which not only for PPAs, but also for the renewable energy change will make also easier. So I think now it will be interesting to hear the point of view of Pablo from the point of view of the technical advisor. So I will pass the word to Javier Zandio, so maybe he can also continue and put the next poll.
Okay, great. So let's launch a second poll, and then let's hear Pablo Jimeno, please. Which is your favorite technology in solar energy plants? Let's see. Okay, it seems the poll is done. So please, Pablo Jimeno, Managing Director from Iberica Solar, tell us something about this.
Yes, well, I will speak from a mainly technical point of view. Why it's easier to install now PV plants that are more profitable. Well, first of all, apart from the prices that have been decreasing a lot in the last years and still are, photovoltaics from a technical point of view is a quite simple technology if we compare it with other electrical generation technologies like hydraulics or power plants, conventional power plants. The engineering is easy. The components are easy to obtain from many manufacturers. The time of developing a PV plant is much shorter than from other kind of technologies that need more environmental assessment and may have more environmental issues and problems to solve. And also because now, after so many years, photovoltaics, it's a proven technology all around the world. There are, as I said before, many component manufacturers for inverters, structures, trackers, modules, etc. And it's easily bankable because it's quite common. I mean, it doesn't matter much in which country you are working. Photovoltaics is usually the same. Everybody uses more or less the same tools and the same, for example, yield assessment software or the same methodological databases, which makes it easier to move from one country to another in terms of developing plants. And finally, also because there are many EPC contractors with experience in large plants that have experience in many different countries. So I think it's quite, from a technical point of view, it's quite easy technology and quite homogeneous independently of the country you are going to work.
Okay, thank you very much, Pablo. Maybe we can start with the questions from the audience. The first one from Christian. He says, Mr. Hauke from KGL mentioned that costs for PV plants are low, but PPAs prices are quite high. What is the reasoning for saying PPAs are quite high since 10 or 15 years PPA are hardly available? What pricing and terms structure has KGL in mind, and how does the 5-year rolling PPA work? Hauke, maybe you can answer the question.
Sure, thank you. We didn't see a 15-year PPA, so we only see 5 to 10-year PPAs, and we are in the moment sourcing a PPA in Italy, and we experience, like also in other markets, the higher the next year future price is, the higher the 5 to 10-year PPAs. So the price of the 5 to 10-year PPA. So in the moment, like especially in 2018, the future prices went up. I think due to, at the one hand, higher coal prices, then higher oil prices, which is setting the marginal price setter for the power price. And then there was not much rain, so there was not much hydro generation, and this were the main drivers to move up the power price and also the future price for the next year, interestingly. And this moved up PPA prices in Italy, in Scandinavia, and I'm sure also in Spain. In Spain, we are not so far yet with our project development, so that we did not start serious discussions with power offtakers. But like in all other markets, we are also active in Poland. This was what was happening, and but the longer you want to secure your PPA, the lower the prices, of course, because that's where the risk is. And thus the 5-year PPAs are easiest to obtain and in the moment, of course, get the best price. Then, but it's still possible to get a 10-year PPA, and in Scandinavia it's no problem. The background is that there is a future price available for 10 years, although it's not traded. But this seems to facilitate largely the PPA offers for that period in time, because there seems to be some kind of market orientation, market pricing. And this is more difficult in Italy and in Poland and Spain, but in Italy, as said, we have offers of 10-year PPAs on the table. So, but 15 years is really difficult, and that's why I said that if you take proper risks and the more risks you take as operator, the easier it is to prolong on the period.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. I guess this answered the question. Maybe we can introduce another poll now for the audience. And in the meanwhile, the next question, maybe for Sergio Fernandez. What does the future look like in regards to merchant solar trading in Spain? Please tell us your opinion.
Okay, thanks a lot for the question. This is a very interesting question. You know that the current situation in the PV market here in Spain is that there is a situation where the electrical network is overwhelmed. I mean, there is more than 40 gigawatts of connection to the grid applied for overall Spain. So think about that. Currently, the demand in Spain, I guess that, and I'm speaking by memory, it's 50 megawatts. So if finally the 40 megawatt will be installed, that for sure the 40 megawatt will not be installed in the just with PV energy. The prices of the price of the general energy will be decreased a lot. So from a point of view, is that finally first one, that the general electrical price will decrease while renewable facilities will be installed and connected. So my point of view is that we have in a medium term 3, 4, 5 as maximum years for developing PV projects, and then the capacity of the electrical network that requires a lot of investment for acquire more capacity in order to achieve the next objectives that the government has appointed. We will achieve in 5 years. So in 5 years, more or less, the PV business will be reduced extremely here in Spain. This is my point of view.
Great. Thank you very much, Sergio. Maybe we can launch the next poll, please. And we continue with the questions. Next one, maybe for Javier Izcue and also Pablo Jimeno. Do you consider strings inverters will overtake central inverters in Spain? And if not, with percentage do you think both technologies will be installed? Javier Izcue first.
So thank you very much, Javier, for the question. And I think it's a really interesting discussion. I think it's the eternal discussion. And we kind of do this kind of trainings to our customers, explaining the difference between string and central and when to use them. As Sangro is manufacturing string and central inverters, we are quite neutral about the technologies. And we strongly believe that each technology have their advantages. So, for example, central inverters if the ground is really flat and easy and you don't need a multi MPPT, we strongly believe that central inverter is the solution because it's cheaper than for maintenance. You just have one inverter instead of many of them, and it has many benefits. On the other hand, if you have like a hilly or a shadow and a bit more complicated, or even a solar park in new countries where it's quite difficult to find qualified service people, and then you just have to exchange the inverters, then the possibility of string is really interesting. So this is my point of view, and if string technology will overtake central technology, well, I don't think so. I think both technologies will continue existing in the future, and especially in Spain, where it's more like a central inverter country. This technology, I think, will continue, but the inverters that, for example, Sangro was also putting in the market are more are bigger and cheaper. So I think it will be maybe like 70% central and 30% string. And right now, I would say it was more like 90% central and 10% string. But as I say, both technologies are okay, and both technologies will survive. You just need to consider in which case, which technology fits you better. So I think now that we have the possibility in the group to have Pablo Jimeno from the technical advisor point of view, I think maybe he can also give us his point of view about this issue.
Thank you, Javier. Well, I think you have summarized the topic very well. You haven't left me anything more to tell. In Spain, currently, what we are seeing from our clients, both at developing stage, at construction stage, and at detail engineering stage, is that maybe 90% or more of the people is going for centralized inverters, like typically 4 to 6 megawatts per inverter skid, something like that. And I think this will be the trend in the future, at least in Spain and in most of the world, to our experience, for large PV plants to be mounted on ground. Because you know, these are large plants with good maintenance, and in my opinion, central inverters have some advantages in terms of capex and maybe also in terms of opex, because you have less number of machines, and in large plants like from, I don't know, 20 megawatts to 500 megawatts, I think central inverters are predominant now. As Javier said, string inverters or distributed inverters also have a market. There are also, and we are also doing some works with big plants, ground-mounted big plants, with string inverters, but it's not the majority. And I think the natural field of string inverters is, as Javier said, industrial buildings or residential buildings, or very complicated landscapes in large PV plants. And I think that will be in the future what will remain. Also, from what I see for you know, inverter manufacturers, everybody, or I mean not everybody, but most of the inverter manufacturers are still working in centralized inverters, bigger and bigger. I think the size of the inverters should stop increasing at some point because of you know, cabling lengths and so on. But as Javier said, I think now it's 90-10% in Spain, and in the future maybe it will be 80-20%, something like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Pablo, for your answer. Maybe it's time to do another poll right now. Which of the following stakeholder do you find as key in subsidy-free solar parks? Let's see what the audience think. Okay, as we see the results, maybe Hauke, what do you think about this question? Could you add something?
No, that's basically, I don't know how much I influenced this, but no, that's exactly how we see it. So, I mean, the power offtake and the hedge for this is very important for the banks, even if the investors would say we can take merchant risk as the moment you want to have a bank financing, you need the PPA, and that's why it's so important. And yeah, investment funds are in the moment important. I don't know if, for example, utilities will also start to step into yeah, more PV generation, and if this will become also like an investor. So yeah, investment funds in the moment, money is available, and yield expectations are comparatively low, so that is not the scarcity. So yeah, I agree. Thanks.
Okay, Hauke, thank you very much. Maybe we can follow up with a very interesting question from Teresa Conde. How could affect to the Spanish renewable market a change of government in April if the new one is not so ambitious as the current one? Are the different actors worried about it? Maybe Sergio, you could tell us your opinion about this.
Okay. From a point of view, I think that there will not be a significant changes. Think about it that Spain has engaged the new policy of the European Union that sets that the new target for consumption in renewable energy is 32.5%, and furthermore, the current Spanish government has increased this quantity. So my point is that at least Spain has to fulfill with this commitment of with this new commitment of 32.5. So besides May, if there is a change of government in Spain that will not support so high the renewable energies as strong as this government, they cannot do so much for that. So may this government, if there is a change of government at that moment, in the first 4 years of this a change of government, the activity in renewable energy could be a little bit stopped, okay? But in any case, we have to fulfill our commitment. So I think that finally the policy will not change strongly.
Thank you for your opinion. Maybe now Javier can add something.
So thank you, Sergio. I think you almost say everything, but you know how. You also know, and the audience also know how the politicians are. I hope no politicians are hearing this. No, I'm just kidding. We were in the last solar conference, and there was a really interesting conference, and all the different parties were there. I mean, it was all the main politicians were there, and then someone in the audience asked a similar question. So, for example, imagine that the PP is again back. Then, if they will not bet for renewable energy, and they couldn't answer, but all of the different parties said that they are in favor of renewable energy and that they will support this technology. They didn't mention if they were going to change something in the new normative on regulation, but they said that they were in favor. So I strongly believe that they will continue betting for this kind of technology, and that there will not happen again the problems that we faced when the law was changed back in the earlies of 2010s. So I think it was a good question, and I think I will pass the word to Javier Sandy again.
Please, Javier, just let me jump in just 1 minute. In any case, think about that we have one of the most highest prices of electricity in Europe. So our option is, in a short term, are not quite easy because nuclear power is not very popular, as everyone says. No one's want in their backyard a nuclear facility. So we need to get a lower price of electricity. The only oil will be higher. So the only option that we have is to invest in renewable energy. So I guess, from my point of view, that even the politicians, they are not interested, there are no many options for decrease the electrical price.
Okay, Sergio, thank you very much. Also, let me pass this question also to Jauke. As a foreigner, how do the rest of the countries in Europe find this topic of the government change in Spain, the possible government change in Spain? Please, Jauke.
No comments on politics from my side, so I keep neutral there. But there's one special thing about the Spanish electricity market when we are talking about prices, that there's of course still the 7% energy tax, which basically also is one driver of a higher electricity price in Spain, which we expect that in the future, once the old PV installations have run out of the subsidy scheme, that this 7% tax will hopefully be, will probably, that's our expectation, will be reduced. I mean, I don't know, sometimes it's difficult to reduce taxes because the state wants the revenues, but from an economical point of view, it would make sense because it is basically bad for the competition of the Spanish power market versus the Portuguese, French power market, because it just drives prices up and leads to less exports and more imports. So that's a little bit what we expect in the long term. And in our business case, it's a slight advantage because then we would not need to pay the 7% or lower amount. And but on the other hand, probably the power price, of course, as said, would go down, maybe not by the same magnitude. So we would expect a slight upside. That's maybe sad to that.
Okay, great, Jauke. Let's go now for the next question. We've got a couple of questions regarding the string or central inverters. One question asks for the difference in reliability between them, and another question says if temperature has got a major impact on the decision between central or string. Maybe Pablo, as technical advisor, can say us something about this topic.
Well, regarding the reliability, I think it's similar in terms of availability. I mean, the technology is pretty much the same. Size is the only difference. Of course, string inverters have one advantage in that part of the business, because if you have a problem with one inverter, the problem is smaller in terms of production. You are losing because of maybe 2-3 days that you need to repair or change the inverter, and also it's easier just to change the inverter and send the broken one to the manufacturing company to be repaired or whatever. So that's an issue, but in as I said, in a big installation with like 50-100 megawatts, you also have a good operation and maintenance company that will do preventive maintenance and so on, and also centralized inverter manufacturers try to solve this problem by having inverters that are centralized but are also made in power blocks that you can exchange. So some centralized inverters are in reality made of 4, 5, 6 power that can be exchanged. So it's not so. I mean, it is not so likely that when you have a problem, you have to shut down all the inverter. On the other hand, the temperature issue, now most inverters are installed outdoors, so they are no longer inside buildings. So this is something that has improved, because an inverter inside a building needs a lot of ventilation. So this is somehow improved from that part. But it is true that it is a very important issue, and that has to be treated in when designing a plant, in order to choose which inverter manufacturer or even which inverter model has to be used according to the temperatures that are expected in the field. But I mean, distributed inverters also have this problem, and also because they, at the end of the day, they need a transformer, same way as centralized inverters, which also have problems. Regarding temperature, I have seen more problems with transformers than with inverters, to be honest.
Okay, Pablo, thank you very much. Maybe we can launch the next poll for the audience. Will power off-takers' appetite for offering fixed-price PPAs keep track with the PV capacity increase? Let's see how the audience answer. Okay, this seems very close for our audience. Jauke, maybe you can tell us something about your opinion in this topic.
It's a good message. Let's hope for that this is the case, because that would facilitate the capacity increase. So that's what we all hope for, that there's a market developing, and that it's becoming as easy to get a long-term PPA as it is in Scandinavia at the moment. And the key seems to be that there's this 10-year Nasdaq future price, which makes it much easier for the off-takers like Statkraft, Axpo, NEA, and to offer long-term off-takes. So, very good.
Thank you, Jauke. Maybe does anybody want to add something? Okay, if we are okay with this one, let's launch the next poll, please. Will banks accept more merchant risk for PV project finance? Okay, great. Sergio, maybe you can add something, or if and after you, Jauke, please.
Okay, my point of view is that they will not accept more merchant risk. This is my opinion. I've been engaged in the last project finance process in the project here in Spain. It has been really difficult about the risk that the banks wants to assume, and it's gonna be easier. I know for sure that. It has been easier for us that our project was awarded in the last Spanish auction, but I know because we are in contact with other developers, other companies, that project that they has not been awarded with the Spanish auction. So for them, it's been more difficult than the process that we have it. So my point of view is that I guess that if project finance, they don't have a PPA that reduce the risk of the merchant price, the banks will not accept a higher risk.
Okay, thank you, Sergio. Jauke, do you have something to say about this?
Yeah, I mean, yes, and no. So I also believe that they always will want to have a hedge, and in the moment they are re-entering this financing of basically merchant projects with a PPA hedge, and I think they always need a hedge, because otherwise you can't justify the low interest rate or relatively low interest rate. But I could assume, since they also have pressure to find project financing opportunities, that they will be, use maybe more tools like cash sweeps, 100% cash sweeps, in order to get all the upside in the beginning to go down, or do some more repayments and just go down with their risk, and maybe also accept longer tails. So, for example, if the PPA is 10 years, that they still accept to provide a project financing of not only 12 years, but of 15 or maybe even 18 years, because in the end, the lifetime of the plant will be definitely more than 20 years, and so there will be cash flows, and O&M costs are very, very low, and it can be very low. So there will be cash flows even if there is no PPA any longer, and during the PPA period, the debt facility will already be paid down mostly, and so I expect that there is hopefully more appetite for kind of a merchant risk, but in very tight boundaries with very strict rules, but which still enables the investors and the operators to realize projects.
Thank you. Okay, now next question. We've got one for Javier Izcue from Sangro. What do you think that will mean the ion lithium batteries price decrease? Will it change the energy mix distribute or utility projects? Tell us something about this, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Javier. Then I think I can discuss this and what are the expectations of the kilowatt hour for the next year. Well, I think the young lithium batteries, the price is continuing decreasing, and also new technologies will be in the market available in the next year. And as I said before, this will make it possible to have this kind of technologies, not only for utility scale projects, but also for self-consumption. So I think both type of solar parks will be the key for the future. And some in the audience were asking me what is the expectations of prices. Well, this is impossible to know right now. But from Sangro point of view, we are seeing that there is a trend, not only in Spain but worldwide, by using this kind of solar technology with hybrid storage batteries.
Okay, thank you, Javier. Maybe Pablo, would you like to add something about this?
Yes. Well, when it comes to speak about the batteries, I think the price is a key issue, at least for large energy projects. We have been participating lately in some tenders, like in Jordan, in which batteries were going to be used for grid regulation. And also we are now doing some studies for some clients that already have PV plants installed, but are facing some power curtailments from the utilities, and they want to see how can they use the energy they are currently not being able to export. So we are doing these kind of studies, but in order to be a trend or to be installed in most of the PV plants, I think the price still has to decrease. But same thing happened to photovoltaics if we look 10 years back. So I think the future is for batteries if the prices keep going down.
Okay, Pablo, thank you very much. Let's go now for the last question for Sergio from Ginkgo. Do you see 1,500 volts technology as risk for PV plants in Europe?
Not at all. As you are aware, the most of you in the low voltage code here in Spain, the low voltage is considered in DC current until 1,500. So, from my point of view, I think that there is no risk at all. So,
Okay.
regulation allows this level of regulation allows this level of tension in low voltage. So, from my point of view, there is no risk at all.
Great. Javier, what do you think?
Well, I totally agree with Sergio. From the point of view of the manufacturer, we continue also with the line of 1,000 volt, especially for residential and C&I, especially in countries as Germany. But we see that 1,500 volt is the future. So I think that will be also the future. But we have also Pablo Jimeno here. Maybe, Pablo, you can also add your point of view.
Yes, regarding the voltage level, I mean, we really only do utility scale PV plants. So I don't know what is really happening in the residential market, but in utility power plants, 1,500 volts is the only voltage level used now. I mean, I think looking back 2 years, I don't remember any project that involves 1,000 volts. Everybody is going to 1,500 volts. Everybody. It is cheaper. So I mean, and the prices are reducing and reducing. So everybody has to be there.
And there is another advantage that you reduce the losses. So
well, I mean, you reduce the losses as long as you keep the same cable. Yeah, but yes, I mean, it's a matter of price. But yeah, of course, in principle, you are reducing the losses when you are increasing the voltage. But the main reason is a decrease in the OPEX, in the CAPEX cost, from my point of view.
Okay, thank you, Pablo. Maybe now is time to do a conclusion for each one and to say thanks and goodbye for our audience. Jauke, you can start.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you also for the invitation. I think it was a very interesting discussion, and I'm looking forward to the event next week. And I'm very positive on subsidy-free solar. So let's go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Jauke. Sergio?
Just say thank you to the audience. I hope that all answers can satisfy the questions, and thank you to Solarplaza for the opportunity to participate.
Javier,
so I have to thank you, the audience, for hearing all the webinar. I think it was really interesting. Also, thank you to Jauke, Pablo, and Sergio, and Javier for moderating, and Solarplaza. So I hope also to see you all next week. And if anyone has also some questions which were not answered, you know that you can contact any of our companies. So all the questions are answered. Thank you.
And last but not least, Pablo.
Hi, same as you have said. Thank you very much for thinking in us to participate in this webinar. It was very interesting for me to hear the participation of the other guests, and also to see which are the main interests in the audience. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, everybody. And now maybe Leoncio from Solarplaza has got something to say.
Thank you, Javier. Thank you. Just a big thank you to all the speakers, Javier, Jauke, Pablo, Javier, Sergio. Really appreciate all the effort. It was a great webinar, very interesting. And I would just like to conclude by saying that we hope to see you next week in Spain to continue the discussion. Thank you, and until the next one.